Hello and welcome to Chasing the Finish podcast with me, Mike, him Ben, and him Jake. And we are here again to talk about Napton 10k. And this time we've got the correct background, we've got the correct intro music, and hopefully you can hear us as well. Anyone that saw a video pop up yesterday, you're probably looking for it today. You haven't gone mad. We tried to go live. I didn't select the microphones, so it didn't pick hardly anything up. So we're going to go for take 2 because yesterday was the big event day that we're all building up to. It was the Napton 10k. We finally done it, and we're here to talk about how it went. And as I say, I am joined by Ben and Jake. Ben, you all good, mate? How are you feeling this morning?
Oh, I'm glad I booked the day off work. I am, I'm aching, man. Aching quite bad, actually, which is surprising because it's, a familiar distance. It's not one that, it's nothing crazy, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was the hill. Maybe, I don't know. Just everything just taken out of me, but I'm all right.
Yeah, no, that's good, mate. Well, we're all off work. I feel like that's pretty obvious to say because we're live at the moment at 10 to 11 on a Monday morning. So, Jake, you feeling all good, mate, this morning?
Yeah, I feel sound, to be fair. I probably could have gone to work. Just easy now, isn't it? No. I'm glad I'm off, but I felt like, to be fair, I woke up this morning. Tam was like, you fancy a run? I'm like, no, not really. But we might go out on one later, see how I feel. But yeah, other than that, I feel blessed.
At the moment, man. Can't be stopped. Always running. That was the last thought of my mind this morning about going for a run. My thigh is in absolute bits. Really don't know what I've done to it. I should probably get it looked at, but you have every intention. Yeah, I'll book an appointment at the doctors, and yeah, it never happens. So, and they're useless. So, like getting an appointment is useless. I should say. Sorry. But yeah, Napton was finally here. I am very surprised I actually slept on Saturday night because I was that buzzing for Napton. And I said it before, it was the most buzzing I've ever been for an event. I think just because of how many there was. So we woke up on Sunday and we did get, the first thing I must mention, we did unfortunately get a message from Blue to say that he really wasn't feeling well and he was quite under the weather, so he wasn't able to make it. So unfortunately, it was just the 6 of us yesterday as opposed to 7. But nonetheless, every single runner absolutely knocked it out of the park. Now, Jake, I'll come to you first because you've never done this event before. You've obviously got a couple of events under your belt prior to this, so that probably helped with like sort of how you were feeling on the start line. But when we turned that first corner and we saw that hill straight away, considering how much Ben and I had sort of bigged it up for months on end, what were your thoughts on it? Because I was behind you and you were sort of with Chris, and I've got to say, you went straight up it. You didn't stop. You just went for it. So was you, after all that, was you maybe thinking, well, that weren't as bad, or was it quite a bad one, but you just managed to get up it?
Like I said to you when we finished, I was like in a mindset. I was like, if I don't get up it, I'll struggle. So like I was talking to Chris, and obviously it was very congested. And then I just saw an opening where people moved, and I was like, he was mid-sentence, and I just ran off because I was like, if I don't push myself to get up it, I'll end up just walking, and I don't want to do that. And then I was like, in my head, I was like, I'll get to the top, I'll walk, and then go again. And then we turned, and I saw another hill, so I was like, I've committed now, so I'm just going to get up that one. And in my head, I was like, we've gone up 2, eventually we're going to come down. So, but yeah, other than that, I was just thinking, I just want to get up it. Like this is what everyone's been knocking on about this big hill. It's like if I get up it and run up it or jog up it or whatever and get it done, at least I've done that, regardless of what time I get. So that was what my thought process with it.
No, absolutely. I think it was such a sort of what a K&a-half intro to a run that is, because like you say, that run's done, and then you sort of got to go round the bend again where it's up. Then you think, oh, okay, finally it's flat. And then you sort of go up again. But yeah, it is quite daunting. Ben, obviously we did it last year, and I was speaking to one of my mates, Ben Ayton, earlier. He messaged me this morning asking how it went. And I sort of said, sometimes if you've run a course more than once, you almost find yourself there thinking, oh, well, last time I was here, this is how I felt when I was doing this segment. But because it was a whole year ago, we obviously, I'm not going to remember that. So was the hill as daunting for you that you remember it from last time? Or was you maybe like, no, do you know what? This isn't as bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. Obviously being a year ago, there are certain little bits that you do forget. You have a general idea of what it looks like and the route and stuff. Even watching the video of the route beforehand again, you don't. Obviously, it's just completely different when you're there. I initially forgot before the hill. It obviously drops down, doesn't it? Goes
Yes.
down, and then you get an incline right off the bat to go down the lane to what you turn left to up the hill. So I completely forgot about that one. I think last year, because I started a bit further back, I sort of middle of the pack. There was so much going on, and obviously it was raining last year as well, so there was a lot of splashing going on, and obviously being bundled in with everyone. I don't know if I'm just you get mixed up and you miss little bits of it. So a lot of people around, but this year I kind of plonked myself right at the front, just sort of went for it. So yeah, I was saying to Jake before about trying to figure out how to tackle it, whether we just go for it or try and go for a certain pace up there. As always, you just go guns blazing. And I was saying to you, I think I was like second or third going up this hill until we got to the corner, and then it was just like all like the elite lads just started to take over. But yeah, I really did zap the legs, just going for it, and I think that's where I suffered later on in the race. So
yeah, no, do you know what? I completely agree. I didn't watch the video back because I thought if I watch the video back, I'm going to be like, oh my God, I forgot about that bit. And then you're sort of reminded of other bits. And then you're like, oh my God. And I was worried that it had maybe messed with my head a little bit. I don't know if any of the other lads maybe watched the video. I think Chris might have done. I think everyone was just intrigued because we'd sort of bigged the hill up. Everyone just wanted to know, right, how big is this hill? And I must admit, when we turned the corner, I was like, right, here we go. This is when the hill is. There's going to be a few people that have never done this run before. What's their reaction going to be like? And I really was at the back. I can't imagine there was many people behind me at all when I first went up that hill, because that's another thing I'll come on to. I didn't look behind me once, and that's why I think it served me in good stead throughout the run. But yeah. I got up the hill, and by no means did I find it easy because I had to walk some of it, but I was able to jog up as well and whatnot. But I got to the top and I thought, you know what, that wasn't as daunting as I thought or as I remembered. And I think having done all these different parkrun courses, we've come across, some really flat courses. We've come across with some sneaky little inclines. We've come across some absolute buggers of a hill. Look at Samwell Valley, for example. And I think having had those experiences, maybe having sort of done that hill, I thought, well, this isn't as bad as I thought. I think last year when we done it, obviously, I think mainly a lot of my running had just been on flat courses. So to see that massive hill, it was quite a shock to the system. But no, I must admit, I wasn't as daunted as I thought. And I mean, it was, you soon start going on flat. It is quite flat afterwards. And then there's a few downhill segments. So, Jake, coming back to you, obviously not doing the course before, how did you find the course overall? Like, because we are literally plonked in a village, almost in the middle of nowhere. I know you obviously got married 5 minutes down the road, so whether you've sort of know the area a little bit because of that. But how did you find the course? Because at times we really were out there on our own with nobody else around.
I think I was a bit lucky, to be fair, because there was always someone in the somewhat distance, or I could hear behind me. But yeah, like that road from like when you turn on and it's got like a slight incline up towards the 5k mark. I think that's where like when everyone said, why don't you just go run one location and run back and that's your 10k, I think I just struggled running in a straight line because it's just so consistent. And everywhere, obviously, it never all looked the same, but it all looked the same. It's just one side was grass and space and trees, same the opposite side. I'd say I didn't struggle. It was more like there was so many people there. Like I'd stop to walk, and people were like, "Come on, I'll help you push through." And then you start again. Like I'm going past. I was pushing through like some sort of a pain barrier to carry on running, but then like I was walking for longer because I didn't have that extra breather when I was, because people come and say, "Come on, push through. You're doing well." I'm like, "Yeah, right, get back on it." But other than that, I did enjoy it. But I think it was more the fact that I was only expecting that one or two hills or inclines, and then throughout there was up and downs, and I was just like, how many more can there be? I keep going up and down here. But every hill I somewhat saw, I was just like, in my mind, I was like, I've just got to keep going up it. Otherwise, walking up it, it's just going to slow me down. It's going to take more out of me. If I just keep going and running, and on the downward, maybe walk a little bit or just jog a bit slower, probably it doesn't hurt as much. So that was what I was trying to do.
Did you have a favourite part of the course?
I didn't like the bit where it turned from the 5k, and it was like that's when obviously cars were coming down. When we turned back onto the home stretch, like towards like back to the finish, I enjoyed that because I knew in my head I was like, right, we've done the bit where you go across, and now we're going back. So I know mindset was like, as soon as I hit that water station, that's it. Then I'm pushing on because I know I'm literally not far from home. I'm thinking max 25 minutes. It'll take me to do 3k at this point. So I was just like, I'm just going to push as much as I can. I thought the water helped. Water came at the perfect time. Although I kept the whole bottle. I don't know how I'd done that, but I was just like, there's going to be parts of this where I'm going to be gasping for a drink. So I'm just going to try and keep hold of it.
Yeah, we finished, and I can't remember who I was talking to, because we're so used to getting the small bottles of water. I was quite surprised we had a full bottle, and they were like, "Yeah, Jake." I think it was Ben actually.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, Jake finished with it." I was like, "What?" But they're sneaky, because I remembered as I was running up to that water station, because it was there last year as well. They threw in a cheeky little incline up there as well, but then that bit when you get to the top of that incline and you're on the home stretch, that is pretty decent. I mean, in terms of a favourite part of the course for me, I would say it was that, I think it was around 2.5 kilometres. It was quite a sharp downhill, and then you turn around the corner. And that was by far and away the longest segment I ran without stopping. And I think that's what helped me get the time that it did, because I might, even though, you might associate running downhill with, it being nice and easy, you almost have to put more effort into making sure you don't absolutely gun it down than you would running up a hill, for example. So I think that was a good segment for me. But Ben, we talked about that segment that Jake was on about last year, didn't we? It's as soon as you get to 5k, you turn left onto that road, and it just feels like it goes on forever and ever, doesn't it?
It does, and I think that's where I struggled the most this year. I think because I just put so much into the first 5k.
Mm-hmm.
I had to say going at my 5k pace, and then I don't know. It was almost like a mental block. Like I haven't done a 10k in a while at that pace, so trying to like almost, okay, I've got to go again here, or there's got to be a point where do I try and slow myself down a little bit, which I did do, and then as soon as this stretch is over, I know we get to the water station, and then it's basically just like a glide into the village, which was my favourite part, and I think it was last year and it was this year. It's literally after that water station, and it's just the run into the village. I don't know. There's just something about it. There are little inclines in it, but I don't know. There's just something about it, because that's when you get the people back supporting, and they're saying, right, come on, not long left. So yeah, that long stretch of road was quite mentally tough. I think that's where I struggled most.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I don't know what it was like when you were there, but when I went through, they'd obviously opened the road again, and honestly, some of the cars were absolutely flying down, and it didn't help. I wasn't looking behind me because I really didn't want to see if there was someone close by. So what I do when you're on a run that bends, I tend to stick on the inside because in my head I think right, it's quicker if I stick on the inside. So I was literally moving from left side of the road to the right side of the road to the left side, and like there's cars coming towards you around bends, and you're like, I really hope they like slow down because they're going to see me last minute, and I just think it's a bit dangerous. But look, I suppose it's a main road to get between places. I suppose they can't really keep those closed for too long. I'm sure there's probably certain things in place meaning they can't. But yeah, I quite like that last bit. There's a hill down that you run, and then you're round the corner from the finish line. I think it's around about the 8.5k mark, roughly. But when I got to 8k yesterday, I just kept telling myself, you've got a mile. That is all you've got is a mile. But because I was out there on my own, there was one woman in front of me who I could see in the distance. And like I say, don't know who was behind me, but there was no one about. You don't really get that much support at big parts of the course. So I was thinking, right, I don't know what time I'm on. I'll take, being a minute quicker and whatnot. So to come through with the time I did, I'm absolutely buzzing. But let's talk about, obviously, aims we had prior and then what actually happened. So, Jake, we'll start with you. I think you said your last 10k, you just wanted it to be quicker than that. And I think you were aiming for 1.5, was it?
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
Yeah. No,
yes.
I was just going to say, what did you come in at?
So, yeah, I think my head was like, if I can get 1.5, but I wasn't expecting that many inclines in it. Obviously, I knew about obviously you both said about the first one. So I knew that was going to take some time off it. And in my head, I was like, I'll just try and make it up on the back 5, which I somehow done it again. I don't understand how it works. I done first 5 in like 35 minutes, and by somehow made up like 3 minutes. I don't know how, but I suppose
maybe
it's just...
you're maybe being a bit too conservative at the start. Then, do you think?
Maybe.
Do you know what
I think it must be something, because obviously when I'm doing a 5k, I'm like, well, it's only 5k, so unless it's the same, like the first 2.5k are more chilled, and then I try and push on the last. But I don't think it is with 5k, because it's usually the other way around. I usually push as much as I can on the first bit and then go for it, and then slow down. Yeah. So I was aiming for 1 hour 5, and I've come in at 1 hour 8, shaved like a minute and a half off my original personal best. So I was happy either way. Ben, to be fair, Ben, you said at the end, imagine if that we do like a 10k flat, all flat. There's no, or it might have been you. One of you said anyway. There's no reason why I couldn't hit under an hour, but I think I'm still a bit away from that though. So if it keeps coming down by a minute each time, I'm happy. So
I think we kicked off yesterday when we started the podcast at the pub. I think we kicked off by sort of saying it's not a PB course. So the fact that there was 5 of us sat around that table and each one of us had a story to tell about how we'd got whether it be a Napton PB or an overall PB, I think credit to everyone, because you got an hour 8:49. I'm just looking at the time now. So your first, I might be putting you on the spot here, Jake, so you might not have this information, but your first ever 10k, can you remember roughly what time that was? I'm not talking event. I just mean the first ever one you did.
Yeah, I think my first one was like 1 hour 17.
So
the first ever one I done, which was like maybe August.
Mm-hmm.
It was before Blue's wedding, I know that, and that was obviously towards the end of August. Yeah, and then I brought it down by 2 minutes, and then I done an hour 11, then hour 10, then hour 9, and now an hour 8. So it is coming down. So I'm obviously the progress. You can see the progress. So if I just keep it up, hopefully it'll be under an hour before I know it. So.
Well, it feels great, don't it? Because I'm terrible for this, and you pair know this, but if I've come back from a run and I've really not felt it, I will sometimes sit there and question, why am I doing it? I'm putting myself through the ringer here, and I'm not really getting the benefit. So when you see things like that, and you say it out loud, you say, oh, yeah, I was a minute quicker. And to people that don't run, they might be like, oh, okay, that's decent. A minute is a long time in running. It really, really is. So to be able to shave any amount off is very good. So the fact you've got it down from like 117 to yesterday 1.8, it just feels so good knowing that it is paying off. And sometimes you'll see results quicker than others, and other times you have to sort of step back and take a bigger look at the bigger picture and then realise. So I totally feel you on that one. I mean, Ben, coming to you, I think you said on the pod you were happy with a sub 40, and your Strava time come up yesterday at 39:28. So another person who must be absolutely over the moon with that. Napton people.
Yeah, well, yeah, you say that. I mean, my chip time was 39:39. So, yeah, no, I'm obviously happy. It's a bit weird, actually. I don't know if anyone else noticed it. Obviously, on my watch, at every K, I was coming in. I think I was hitting the signs, obviously the kilometre markers, and then it was maybe about 100 to 200 meters after my watch would clock up as a kilometre. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to probably come in short like I did last year. But then I got to the finish line and I was over. I come in over 10k, so it's a bit. I don't know what was going on with that, but yeah, obviously, absolutely overjoyed. Sub 40 is what I wanted. Obviously, I was trying to gauge where I was. I think maybe I said about pacing, maybe paced it a bit better. I might have shaved a little bit of time off or whatever, but I don't know. I am happy with that. So yeah, no.
Did you stick with a pacer in the end, Ben?
No, there wasn't a pacer. I had the 40-minute pacer behind me.
Yes.
But
yeah, the next one would have been 35 in front, wouldn't it? So
yeah, I was using the woman who the first lady. I was using her as a bit of a pacer, to be honest. So
right, yeah, because she come in at I think literally seconds after 39. So
yeah,
if you're a little bit quicker, you'd have got in that picture that they took of the first finishers.
Yeah.
I was looking out for it, but yeah, I thought that as well, because my watch has started doing this annoying thing now where it will announce every mile.
You can turn it off.
I don't know how. I thought I'd found out how to turn it off, but I try not to listen to it because, as I've discussed many times on here, I do not like knowing what time I'm doing, how I'm doing. I'd just rather finish and then see the results after, because I would put too much pressure on. If I knew yesterday I was running at a quicker pace and was going to come in at the time I did, I'd have probably walked more, and then I don't want that. So luckily, it's not loud enough that I can hear it, but absolutely, you pass the K marker and you'll hear your watch go and you're like, oh, God. I think my Strava yesterday was 10:03, so only just over 10k. But yeah, I thought, and with it being out in the sticks as well, I thought it was bound to come up short. But to be fair, it didn't, so we'll take that. Just a couple of other times, we obviously had Chris join us, who will say what we said yesterday. He shouldn't have ran. What's he done? Is he's fractured his toe? Is it, or his foot?
His foot, isn't it? Oh, I don't know.
His foot, yeah. And it looked in the X-ray. It looks quite clean, doesn't it? The break. So he got advised a few weeks ago that he needed to rest, but he'd done a couple of 5Ks on it, and shockingly, it's not healed. So he thought, it was really touch and go whether he was going to do it. We all said you probably shouldn't do it. He'd never done that distance before. 5K he might have been able to get through, but then you've got to do it all again. And to be fair to him, he crossed the finish line. He got his Strava time was 1:15:53, so a PB regardless, because he'd never done a 10k before, and then his chip time was 1:16:18. So I must say he did incredibly well yesterday to get the time that he did. And then we've got Fahmi, who on this podcast. Oh, by the way, I should mention that obviously we we got everyone's thoughts on the podcast before Napton and asked what we were aiming for, and Chris said 110. So the fact that he was running on a fractured foot and got 115, I think he can give himself a pat on the back massively for that. Fahmi said that he wanted to aim, he would be happy with anything under an hour and 5 minutes. Well, get a load of this right. His Strava time was 59:37. His chip time was an incredible 59 minutes and 59 seconds. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how he's managed that. I'd be absolutely buzzing. That is the time I want for parkrun. I want a 39:59. That is all I want.
I think you meant a 59:59.
Yeah, so did I. What is he on about here?
Hey,
Make that
I'll do a 59:59 at parkrun. Absolutely. But no, incredible effort for Fahmi. First 10k event as well. So big kudos to him. Tom said on the podcast he'd be happy with anything under an hour. Well, his Strava time clocked in at, have we got that? Yes, we have. 54:59. And then his chip time was 55:34. So again, expectations beat that. And I managed to beat what I expected. I sort of...
Well, can we just say you absolutely smashed your Napton PB?
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush. You have go on, give it us.
Well, yeah. So before I didn't really have anything in terms of aiming wise. I just thought if I can come roughly around what I did last year, because I struggled up with it last year, and I knew it was a tough course, definitely not a PB course. And I knew I'd done well because as soon as I crossed the line, you looked at me straight away and you were almost shocked. You were like, you've come in really quick there. So last year at Napton, my chip time was 1:31:18. And this year, my Strava clocked it at, which I'm really annoyed at, by the way, but it's still a PB. My Strava clocked it as 1:22:09, and my chip time was 1:23:05. So I've got a list on my phone of every 10k race that I've done, and that actually comes second. So 1:23:05 was the second quickest 10k I've ever done. The quickest one I've done was in lockdown in 2020. So Beck keeps saying to me, you shouldn't really count that. It was a long time ago. You've recently started running again. I am counting it because I just, it's my PB. But I just didn't expect it whatsoever. I think I was saying to Chris and a few others when we were walking back to the pub, I didn't cross that line and think, oh, I've run really well there. But I also didn't feel like, oh, I've run really crap. Like, I just felt okay. I'd had quite a stressful Saturday and quite a stressful weekend and, amongst various things, which I'll not go into. But I was really worried about how my mental state was going to be, and especially if I was having to stop-start and how my thigh was, and my thigh was hurting really bad, like, as soon as we started. But, yeah, I think that's probably one of the very few times I can actually say that I'm proud of what I've done, because I was not expecting to do that whatsoever. Yes, I'd have been happy with shaving 30 seconds off it, but for that to go in seconds in the second quickest 10k I've ever done, I didn't wake up thinking I'm going to go and do that today. So, but I took a leaf out of Jake's book. I was saying this in the pub yesterday. Jake, you said a few episodes ago that you sort of give yourself a bit of a pep talk at times, and you give yourself a bit of praise. And I tried it. I thought, why not? There's no one around. So, I was just trying to be as positive as I could. I said, look, I was trying not to worry about who was behind me, who was in front. There was a tiny period where the woman in front was slowing down a bit, and I was trying to keep up with her, and that messed with how I was sort of attacking the run. So I was like, right, no, don't worry about that. If you catch them, brilliant. If you don't, not a problem. But yeah, I don't know where it come from. I ran really well, and I was really happy on the Thursday prior to the event. And I mean, even my split times, Ben was showing me in the pub after, and I think the longest kilometre was
Well,
8:23.
hang on,
Go
because
on.
I showed you the split times, and you went, "Whose are they?" And I went, "You went yours," and you went, "Well, I won't say what you said, but it give you a shock, didn't it?" But
Absolutely. I just, it's nice to see. I've never really been one for looking deep diving into stats like that, but I suppose that's why Strava's so good. I think the longest K time was 8:23, and that was the 10th kilometre. So it was like 7:37 was the quickest, and then it was around sort of 8:10, 8:13, 8:05. So really, really proud of how I did there, and wasn't expecting it, and very happy because, as I said to Jake not long ago, you do all this running, and sometimes I genuinely think, like, I don't know why I'm doing it, but to see the proof in the pudding, and to see it there in writing, going in second for the leaderboard, I'll absolutely take it. So, but I think it was just an all-round good day yesterday. I think credit goes to Napton, the organisers of it. I briefly spoke to Simon. I spoke to Chris as well, who watches the show before. And there were more runners there this year. They managed to get a sort of inflatable start line, which I thought was very good. They had more food options on, and there's just a really nice, friendly feel to Napton. And they had QR codes, bless them, in the Victory Club, signing up for 2026 with 2025's prices. And I think we all joked that we'd probably look at doing that. But I even met a Watford fan inside. She was doing the raffle for the local Brownies Club. So, yeah, I think it's got a really good community spirit. I'll come to you first, Jay. Would you do it again next year?
Yeah, 100%. We got how many there? Six we had.
I think we can get double figures.
Yeah, easily. I think obviously people. I think let me start again because I'm stuttering. I think everyone else will be in the same boat as what we was the first time. The fear is that hill.
Yeah.
But if I can get up the hill in one clean go, anyone can. So, and that's what I'd say to anyone. If I can, you can. Like my running journey only started in Feb.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can do it, anyone can do it. Because I'm my own worst enemy with stuff. Because I'll be like, I ain't doing it again if I beat myself up too much. So
sounds like someone else.
Yeah. It's hard to get out of that mindset. To be fair, but it's one of them ones. Like if you keep doing that, you're never going to get anywhere, are you? That's with just everywhere, everyday life. So
absolutely, no, completely agree. Ben, you do it again?
Of course, man. Of course.
Yeah.
Without
no, well,
I wanted to do it again anyway. That would, I was the reason. I said to you, Mike, I was like, let's do it again. As soon as he finished, I was like, let's do it again. And you, nope, no chance.
Yeah,
and here we are.
Chance, it said. And here we are. I think looking at booking for a second year, no, a third year running.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. And look, if anyone watches this, and it's in Warwickshire, it's not far from Leamington Spa, but it's also not far from like Northampton. You had like Daventry runners there. So it really is. It's going to sound weird, but it's almost close to everything, other than obviously Newcastle and Scotland. So if you're listening from there, maybe plan a little bit more in advance. But if you're watching and you are local to the Midlands, and I was even talking to Ben Aiton earlier. He lives in Hemel Hempstead, and it's an hour and 20 minutes from him, and that's near Watford in Hertfordshire. So it's an hour and 20 from him. It was an hour from Erdington. So it's really weird. I just can't put my finger on it. So if you do watch this and you are sort of local-ish and you want to join us next year for it, I believe it's Sunday the 18th of October next year. Obviously, long way to go, so we'll mention it closer to the time. But we're going to look at doing a couple of runs where we can try and get a big group of us to do it next year. So if anyone's got any thoughts about a run that we could do, maybe you've done it yourself, maybe you think, oh, they'd really like that one, then, we'll try and get it off the grounds, because I think a big part of that yesterday, it was just such a good laugh. Everyone was supporting everyone. I crossed the finish line. You were all there cheering, heard you above everyone else. And then we went and had we went and had a pint afterwards, and we were just having a laugh in the pub. You know, wives and girlfriends were there, and it was just an all-round good day, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So if we can get more events like that, I think it will be a great achievement. What are you smirking at, Ben?
No, nothing, man. Nothing.
Oh, I know what he's smirking at. You said wives and girlfriend, and it's fiance actually.
Yeah,
Michael.
fiance. Sorry,
Come
yeah,
on.
sorry about that.
Just got the death stare, Mike.
Oh, yeah, all right, okay, sorry.
To be two women at 18 then.
Oh, no, yeah, my wife giving me daggers. Yes, sir. Taking too long.
Just, I've got a question though.
Go on.
Obviously, it was the first ever pod that we did. We did a little show off of our medals, me and you, Mike, and we absolutely, you absolutely slagged one off. In particular, the Napton 10k medal. Have you got it on you?
No, it's downstairs. Annoyingly, this was an emergency podcast, so I had
Jack,
time
you got
to
yours?
get my laptop.
Yeah, mine's upstairs.
Right.
So,
Go.
You got yours?
Yeah, in my bottom drawer at my side table.
This is brilliant. Live podcasting, everyone. We'll just wait here.
You know, it'd be nice.
Got me in trouble then, Mike.
I saw you look, and I was like, yeah, I know exactly what that's about.
Yeah, sorry.
It'd be nice to find another like hidden gem like Napton, just somewhere in the sticks, little village. And we'll just try and tick off these little hidden gems.
These
me.
smaller events. Right, so here we go.
Here we go.
Upgrade.
Yeah.
I should have got the other one as well.
I've got the other one.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
There you go. We'll have a side-by-side comparison. Definite upgrade.
It's a ribbon from floss. It's a ribbon. You reckon they'll go triangle next?
Well,
around here.
I hope they go make the jump and go for
Copper.
what would you call it? It's almost like pewter, isn't it? Like normal medals. I don't know.
Tin.
It's mad because I come home yesterday and I was all the car ride home and everything. Went to pick up the kids as well, and I was literally sat there thinking there must be something wrong with me because all I can smell is like burning. Like I was like, can anyone else smell that? I thought, you know when they say like you smell burning, there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
No, it turns out it was this medal.
What?
Obviously, it was around my neck. All I could smell. I don't know. You wait till you smell yours.
Yeah, it's probably because you stood by that fire for how long? It's just you know, I had it, man.
I thought it was his arse on fire at one point. But no, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think the more events we can do like this together will be great, and yeah, we'll get planning for next year's run. Obviously, stick Napton in the diary. That's going to be done. I think all the other lads will do it as well. That joined us yesterday because let's try and get double figures. But just a quick shout as well. Good week on the leaderboard. There is a top 10. Dean L coming top there with 50.36 kilometers last week, and I'm really annoyed at myself because if I'd have done just one extra run for the taper week, I'd have maybe snuck in over Claire there, because Claire in 10th place, a new name by the way, so it's lovely to see new names on the leaderboard. 28.81 kilometers was all it took for 10th place this week. So yeah, well, I think that's pretty much everything that we need to discuss. I think we're no further along really with the pickled goose run. A quick reminder of that, we're looking at doing a run on the 27th of December, 10k run. The start and end point is the Alton Tavern. We will do the rest. We will sort the route and everything. We're going to try and get some medals as well. So yeah, it should be a good one. So if you're in the Midlands, specifically Solihull, and you want to join us for that, do let us know. It's looking more likely it's going to be 9 a.m. instead of park run. So yeah, let us know if you do fancy that. But we'll put posts out closer to the time anyway. But yeah, other than that, chaps, unless there's anything else I've missed, I think we'll call it a day there.
No, I think we're good. I think that's everything. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please do hit the like button down below. make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. We're at 53 subscribers, which it's been nice to see that go up. So thank you very much if you are one of those subscribers. And yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you next week. So until then, keep chasing that finish and keep on trucking.
Mhm.
See you later.
See you later.